What's up, guys? It's James Carino again, and today we have another Java coding challenge, and we are going to be looking at a Leetcode problem, number 75. It's a medium. It's rated medium. It says given an array nums with n objects colored red, white, and blue. Sort them in place so that objects of the same color are adjacent with the colors in the order red, white, and blue. We will use the integers 0, 1, and 2 to represent the color red, white, and blue respectively. So given an array, we pretty much sort it. That way everything is every um, every element inside the array is sorted in order and are together pretty much. So let's use this method and let's copy paste it and let's start programming, guys. Here we go. We have the start, we have the main class, and we will be making a method. We copy pasted the method called sort colors, and we're going to be putting in the parameter of an integer, and we're going to be returning void. Okay, so let's make up an integer array. Let's name it array. Okay, so we're creating an array of integers, and let's do 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 2. Okay, so we pretty much have this array, and we will be sorting it in such a way that all zeros will be on the left side, ones will be in the middle, and twos in the end. So before we get into a complex kind of sorting method, we're going to be using a sorting algorithm today. Java actually has a built-in method using the arrays library, where all we need to do pretty much, right, is sort the array. So we could use this arrays.sort, and we put the array, and that's gonna be returning the sorted array that we want, and we're pretty much done. We answered it, and oh, arrays.toString. Sorry. So what that printed out was the address of the array. Okay, that's the address of the array, and now we're actually printing out the array itself, and we're gonna print it into a string. Okay, so that's the final sorted array that we want, and now let's actually get into the coding, right? Let's do coding into what goes on in the sort method, in this sort, right? We don't really know what goes on in this sort algorithm that the arrays have, unless you do, of course, you do your own research on what it does. But this is pretty much the end product, and what we're going to be doing here, the sorting algorithm I will be using tonight, I mean this morning, it's 1:11, is selection sort. So let's use selection sort, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to get the length of nums, the array that we pass in, right? And after that, we make a for loop where we're going to be moving the boundary of the unsorted array, which is nums. In this case, nums. Okay, so we move the boundary starting from the first index. Okay, so int I less than length minus 1 I plus plus. So what we pretty much did is we're moving from index to index, and we're setting this to be the boundary, and then when we go up, when we do plus plus, 1 will be the boundary. So the element on index 1 will be the boundary, and so on and so forth until we reach the last index of the array. So common problems here, pretty much when we use these for loops of sorting algorithms is, the index out of bounds. And to be honest, I still get that error, right? I still get that error, and it just comes with practice, constant practice. And if you actually like try to look into what you put in the for loop, it's gonna actually make sense. So the next step we're gonna be doing is we're gonna get we're gonna get the minimum from the length of each bound, right? So we're gonna we're gonna start with get the minimum of each bound starting from the first one, right? So we're gonna name it minimum, and we're gonna say int minimum is equal to I. We're just gonna use that as default, the default minimum, right? And we're gonna do a for loop. Now this one we're gonna actually start. We're gonna start from the second index, right? So this is 0. It's gonna start with 1, okay? And we're gonna say for j, starting from index 1, j less than the length, right? J plus plus, and it's just gonna keep iterating. So this is pretty much just like any sorting algorithms, bubble sort, any kind of sorting algorithms, right? What we're pretty much doing is we're just gonna be doing an if statement, which is what we're gonna be doing next. We're pretty much just gonna compare, right? So if array at j, right, is less than nums was less than nums at the minimum index, right? So in the case that I can make a quick example here, if at index 1 it's equal to let's say 2, right? And index 0, which is the minimum index, it's equal to 4, right? Because that's what we set as the initial minimum. We're pretty much gonna be swapping it. We're gonna be swapping the contents of index 0, right, and index 1. So what we usually do in these sorting algorithms, right, we make a temporary variable, and we put the minimum index, whatever is in the minimum index, right, in nums, in the array that we pass in. We're gonna store that value inside temp, and with nums, right, at the minimum index, now what we're gonna be putting in the minimum index is j, because j is now the minimum, right? J, whatever the value is at in this example, index 1 to 2, we're gonna store 2 in the minimum index, right? Because it's the index right after the initial index. Next, num at j, whatever now is at j, which is at index 1, we're gonna put the temp, which is the initial minimum, right? So what we did here was pretty much swap the values. Okay, so now what we can do is, since it's a void, we don't have to return anything. We can test it out. Now let's do sort colors, and let's pass in the array, right? And second error, it means public static, right? Sort colors, and let's print out the array. Let's differentiate it. Okay, let's differentiate it right here. Built-in array sorting algorithm, right? And selection sort. And this so that we can see the difference, right? Press build, and here we go, build an array sorting algorithm. And the selection sort that we did was pretty much the same thing, right? So we got the correct answer. So we got to sort all the zeros adjacent to each other, all ones adjacent to each other, and all twos adjacent to each other. So yep, that's pretty much how we answer that Leetcode problem. Sort colors. So if you guys want to see more videos, email me, send me a message. Let's make more videos. Let's continue solving these Leetcode problems. This is actually a great way. This is actually a great interview question, and there's an interview question that I took recently as well, which pretty much asked the same thing, except rather than the sort colors, they give me an array. So this is pretty much the answer, how to answer that Leetcode problem. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and like the video. I'm going to be doing basic programming, not really challenges, but basic programming stuff, just explaining the different algorithms pretty soon. And you know, yeah, so if you have any additional Leetcode problems that you want me to solve, email me, message me. I'll do my best to answer those problems for you guys. But for now, that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed and learned something new today. Keep programming, guys. See you.